want closure. Hands up if you're tired of the cover. It's the sound of the secrets uncovered. Yo, radar lock, but they don't see nothing. Town kids saw the triangle hovering. Phone in his hand, got the whole thing filmed. Next day gone like it fell in a kiln. Black Van's creeping, sir that's a star, but his zigzag snaps like a muscle car. There's a base badge flash, don't take pics till the hanger got craft that can break physics. Loose spin tight with the same 10 lines, but the pilot can't sleep, see the same 3 lights. Briefed in a room, this meeting ain't happened. Sign this paper, mine gets flattened. Flip that script when Coley goes live. Pull the tape back, play a slow rewind. Every in a blur, in a gray enhanced. Got a whole damn world in a trance like to the back road, sight into the jet cam clip. But a tic-tac comment from the doc in the lab with the men of that blood. It's like a late night show where the story begins. This our time, this our show. Turn it up loud on SNX radio. If you want that file, better make that noise. Whole world sing with a million voices, 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 truth beyond disclosure. Truth beyond disclosure. Lights in the sky take over. We got the buzz, you to take over. Everybody in the club yelling show. Truth beyond disclosure. We want closure. Hands up if you're tired of the cover. It's the sound of the secrets from
All right, and welcome everybody back to another episode of SNX Radio. Sorry, I had to get this off of there real quickly. SNX Radio, I'm Coley, also known as Coley UFO, and we have the beautiful birthday girl, Maya. StarFire, if you do not know Maya, definitely get over to her channel and subscribe to her. She's fantastic, and it's her birthday today, so that's even more exciting. Yes, I would sing you happy birthday, but it wouldn't be very pretty. But yeah, how's your birthday been so far?
Pretty good. Just kind of boring. My boring life, but but it's been good. It's been nice. Yeah.
No, I have the same thing. I'm sitting here acting like I'm like with big plans, and I'm like I think I go intentionally not to leave my house on my birthday anymore. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Kids and yeah, a crazy world. So don't do too much. But I'm happy I'm here though with a bunch of my favorite people. So it's cool.
Awesome. Well, as always, Maya, it's always Absolutely amazing to have you. I'm just gonna go through chat. I don't know. Are you able to see chat on your end? Do you want me to start at top? You start bottom or bottom top?
Okay.
Which way would you?
I'll start at the bottom if you want.
Yeah, I'll start at the top. Yeah, I usually like just go through like a just a list, and it's been popping, so it's great to see everybody. Gary, I see you in there. Chiru Sounds, hey, Midnight Night Watchers, always a pleasure to see you guys. And Moon at Noon, hey Moon, Jeff, I got let's see here, Kirk W75 and Blazer. Yeah, you want to take it, Maya?
There's Sam and Spiritual Ascension, Benno. I'm gonna mess up her name, Eloria. Carl Sup,
Carl.
Andrew. I don't see any more. Chi. I saw Chi her earlier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome. I think that is so. If we missed you on going down, I definitely will make it up to you. But yeah, I think we got everybody as for right now. So we have a absolutely fantastic guest that brought it with him so much the first time. I mean, I've never seen somebody with so much information, so many credentials. To see his bio and to read his bio, I was like, I had to see if this person was real. And here he is. And he's friends with Brian. And I was like, Bowden. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had no clue before we had Maya and I had him on. So anyway, I'm just going to bring Al out. I'm going to let him, because his list is so extensive. And it's not that I'm trying to get out of giving you a bio, but you come with a resume, like, of things of organizations, of projects you've been on. The longest I've ever seen. I think the most impressive.
No, Brian's got me beat by a mile. Let's be honest there. Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, he didn't send me that version. I've never seen, like I said, I've never seen. I think I said something to you after, like, how do you keep these all straight? How in the heck do you keep these all straight?
It's just, when you've been doing it as long as I've been doing it, you dabble in everything. So, I've always dabbled in everything to begin with. And it just comes natural to dabble in everything. So, you join all these organizations and, and you see what they're all about, and you feel them out, and you go with it for a little while, and then if there's too much politics involved, you bail, So it is what it is, I kind of just do my own thing now. I don't even promote myself anymore. I just go out, I pick up the evidence, I get stuff, and I just kind of keep it to myself. And maybe one day I'll hand it off to a young buck or something and give them all my crap and say, hey, listen, do what you want with it. Like, people are always after me to write books, and I'm like, who the hell wants to read my stuff? You know what I mean?
You could write a good book.
No,
for sure.
I'm not an author. I'm not writing any books. I can barely spell my name, but so I just do me, and that's it. I'm working on a couple of wild things right now that came in. One from the UK and one from the Midwest, and it's pretty wild stuff, man. But
what part of I'm in the Midwest.
I believe Indiana.
Oh, close. I'm in Iowa.
Okay. Yeah. So one person who thought they were possessed. I don't actually believe they are possessed. I believe they have an attachment, but they're not possessed. And took him. I asked him if he wanted help, and he took the time to think about it, and he said, "Okay, So my psychic I'm going to connect him with my psychic, and my psychic's going to help him out. She can take care of that."
What do you think is he going through the stages of, like, you think that this is a possession, or do you think it's a mental health type deal?
I don't think it's a mental health issue. He's going through the stages. He has he has depression, but that's one of the stages
Oh yeah.
of possession. You know what I mean? But I
When
don't.
somebody's possessed, their house is a mess, their life's a mess, their relationships are a mess. It tears everything.
Yeah,
Like,
and
yeah,
if,
definitely.
it was given to me via another podcaster. Said, I'm gonna hook you up with Al. Al could help you because it wasn't his forte, and I don't play with dark things. It's above my pay grade. But I talked to the guy because I like to try to help everybody I can. I never charge for any of my services, whether I come
I didn't
to
know
your
you
house
did this. I'm writing it down now.
and
Well, yeah, because not just anybody is capable. I know Russ Reynolds is another one who I would feel comfortable enough. But other than him, you're probably the only one that I knew that took on these cases.
I try to take. I try to help everybody who comes to me. I try to help, and I offered. I spoke to my psychic about it, and she's like, Al, I could help him if he wants to help, and I told him about it, and he was like, let me think about it, and I said, okay, take your time. And he reached out to me and he says, yeah, I think I would like to help. So now I just got to coordinate a schedule to get those two connected. And I got another guy from the UK who reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, and he thinks he was videotaping a UFO, and in his videotape, he's got some kind of language in it that he thinks is alien language.
Oh, okay.
And my brother is a parapsychologist, so I let my brother, and he was an ex-MUFON field investigator, and I said, run it through your software, let me know what you think. And he ran it through his audio analysis program, and it came back non-human.
Oh, wow.
So then he went back to the location just to try to replicate the audio in the video, and he did replicate the audio in the video, but this time he's got eye shine in the woods looking at him. Really, really big eyes, and it goes from white to red to green to yellow back to white. So I sent everything over to my brother again today, and I was like, let me know if this audio is non-human like the other one, and let me know if you could slow down, frame by frame, and what do you think is giving us the eye shine? Because the eyes are humongous. They're really big eyes. You know what I mean? It's not like it's a little raccoon looking at him in the woods, so scared the hell out of his girlfriend. She was the one actually outside the car videotaping.
She's like, let's get the hell out of here.
The eyes, she just ran to the car, and she gave him holy hell when she got in the car too, believe me. But so I'm working on those two things. I got other people listening to the audio as well. I got like a linguistic guy. I sent it out to a MUFON analysis guy. I sent it out to, I sent it out to 2 or 3 people, and I'm just waiting for everybody to get a chance to run it through their systems and see if it comes back. Like my
so was
brothers.
it like Latin or anything? Because that's usually something.
No, it was like a murmuring kind of thing. As a matter of fact, when we heard it, my brother and I both heard it, the first thing we did was Google Earth the location, because I had him give me the coordinates of the location, and I had him give me the frequency of his phone, because whatever phone he was using was able to pick this language up, so it was coming in on that frequency, and so we Google Earthed it, and there are some woods in the area, and we're not a lot of woods because it's the UK. It's not like the United States, and but there could have been some kind of cryptid in the woods while he was looking up, filming the UFO. There could have been a cryptid in the woods, watching him and communicating with another one. I'm not sure, but like I said, I told him, go back, try to duplicate it, but use a different phone this time with a different frequency and see what you get, And he got the same murmur on it, but this time instead of capturing a UFO, he captured eye shine in the woods, and very very interesting video, very interesting. So I'm working on that stuff. I get, like I said, I get stuff coming in from all over the world, and I got podcasters sending people my way as well. If it's out of their realm, they'll send it to me, whatever.
Oh, I didn't know this. So, like, Al's gotten into the ghost busting, like, type realm. I think this. Yeah, The Exorcist. Well, the Exorcist, the ghost busting thing. I'm thinking in like the whatever this is. Like, it's crazy. I just had Steve Mira and Mara on yesterday, and yeah, oh gosh, some of the stuff was so insane. He said that he thinks that this is all like the same type. It's programming and the way that gosh, if that even does it justice. But his way of explaining it is very and the way that we engage the phenomenon and the way that it attaches to certain people, and just kind of like the whole 9 yards. And I remember he was talking one time about an exorcist and going in there, and then I think he said that, well, at the last minute he's like, if you don't need me to go in, I don't need it to, I guess, know my name. And then and that's a whole nother level of crazy on top of that.
Yeah, if I would have, I don't claim to be psychic by any stretch of the imagination, but I get gut feelings. And when I was talking to the gentleman, I was like, I don't think you're possessed. I think you have an attachment. What's attached to you, I don't know. But my psychic will be able to identify it through its energy, frequency or whatever. And I said, I'm not a psychic. I can't. I just tell by talking to you, and the feeling I'm getting is I think you just have an attachment that you need to be cleansed, not actually have a exorcism or anything like that. Because if I would have felt anything dark, I would have bailed on that immediately, because I don't need, when you look into the dark things, they look back at you, and I don't need anything looking at me, man. You know what I mean? So that's above my pay grade. I have friends I can call who I could hand stuff off to. You know what I mean? So
this is above. Yes. I said that, like they start going or Latin, and all of a sudden they had never spoken Latin before, and that comes out. That's the same time I exit that door and find somebody who can table that.
Did one investigation where there was something demonic attached to it, but the only reason I did it was because it was a friend of mine, and it was attached to his little daughter.
Oh wow!
And she was not only was she speaking in tongues, she was doing things that were not humanly possible.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It was freaky, really, really, really freaky. And I actually had a friend of mine who was very powerful psychic from the UK, who took that job on for me and took care of that for me, cleansed her, and but it was some because if it was anybody else, I wouldn't even got involved. But when I seen it was his little daughter, like a 5-year-old little kid, and it's like, what is she doing? And they were telling me all the crazy stuff that she was doing. I was like, okay, this is serious. We need to do something. We need to do something right now before it gets any further. Because if it gets any further down the line, I don't know if we'll be able to bring this kid back, So,
oh God. And that's true too. Scary. It wears them right down. It does wear them down.
That was very, very scary. Yeah, very scary. And the scary thing is, he had like 3 other kids that were all younger than her. You know what I mean? And I didn't want it to jump from her into her brothers or sisters. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to know somebody from England who was a very powerful, I guess you'd call it psychic or whatever, and she took care of it for me, and I was like, thank you very much, and it didn't cost them a thing, so.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Because that's a hefty load to take on. Like I said, I've seen some others do it, but I'm like, Oh gosh,
Oh
just
yeah,
to be in that.
it's
Oh
way
gosh.
above my pay grade. Believe me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. No, I don't want anything to do with demons or anything dark like that. You know, you want to give me a negative spirit that was a person at one time and he was negative in life, negative in death. Okay, I
That's
could
a
deal with
different
something
story.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. But when you're talking about something that's never been human, no, I'm out.
Yeah, I know. That's
Yeah.
where exit stage. And it's the thing of it is they know you're coming before you knew you're coming. They have, I mean, a full read on you. You don't know. I mean, these things engage in so much trickery, so much,
Yeah,
the
they've been
endless
around for
deception. Yeah.
since the beginning of time. They, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
my God.
I had this conversation. I was doing it. I was doing an investigation with John Zaffis one night, and I said, Johnny, let me ask you a question. I like to pick people's brains. I'm famous for saying I got a question for you, and I asked him about that. I said, do these demons do they remember you from one case to another? And he says, let me tell you what happened to me, Al. Worked a case in Boston, Massachusetts, and we had a exorcism, and we cleansed the guy who had a demon in it. We got the demon's name and everything, and we got it out of him. He said, about a month later, I was in Manhattan walking down the street because he was going to a symposium, and he just happened to be walking down the street. In the Bowery, there was a lot of homeless people in the Bowery, and he said, as I was walking down the street, I looked into this alleyway, and I seen a bunch of people sleeping on cardboard boxes and stuff. And he said, one dude jumped straight up into the air. It's like it was impossible to do. Like a human couldn't do it. And ran right over to him and got right in his face and said, I know who you are, John Zaffis. Do you remember me?
Oh yeah.
And Zaffis says, I know who you are too. Now get the hell away from me. I'll do the same thing to you here that I did in Boston, you know? And I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy.
They
do.
make it personal after
And
that.
not only that, you know what else he told me? Is that they'll tell other ones about you. So other demons that you may have never even come across yet know all about you.
This is reminding me of a movie or something. I think. Yeah.
I know.
The body's freaking the person out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that was just the conversation I had with John because we were working
I
together.
remember hearing this though. This guy that dealt with it, and he said there's one that he wishes he went into a case with a family. He said that it learned his name, and he's like, once they know your name, they don't forget it. Once they speak your name, it's forever. Like, and I remember somebody saying that, and it's just like, man, can you imagine? But they almost make it personal because they can be in more than one. It's not just one place, that they stay. I'm assuming they can be in multiple.
Oh yeah, no, I mean you can't kill them. All you're doing is removing them from that person that they're in, that vessel, and they go and they find someone else to go into.
Yes,
you can't kill them. They just bounce around from one place to another. Yeah. My
energy
brother,
cannot be created nor can it be destroyed, and that's so true. And that's what I said. Where it happened, we should be collecting. We shouldn't be just letting them go to the next person.
Yeah.
Is this what job insurity? I don't know. What do you need here? But that's what's happening.
My brother lived in Connecticut, and he ran into Ed and Lorraine Warren. All right, and he became good friends with them, they used to go to this one pizzeria in Trumbull, Connecticut, and my brother used to live right in Trumbull, so he always would run into him. And he was having a conversation with Ed, and he said, Ed, I think I want to do what you do, and be a demonologist and stuff like that. And Ed just looked at him and said, Frank, you don't want to do this line of work. He says, it takes years off your life. He said, just do your investigations and, and stuff like that. Don't even bother going down this road. And like I said, I have no desire to go down this road. When I hear stories from people who tell me they have issues, I know enough people in my life now that I could just hand it off, and say, listen, this is what's going on with this one. Why don't you talk to him and then, see where it leads. and I wipe my hands of it as quickly as I can.
Oh yeah, and that's who
Yeah.
I was talking to, was one of the Warrens. Well, he was related to Ed Warren, and his dad was, and he said that I was talking to Russell Reynolds, who's on the
Okay.
show, and he was the one that was talking about when they leave. That's funny you said that, because that's exactly the conversation we had about when they're released from the body or the host.
Yeah.
Like what happens. So yeah, that's crazy. But went right into that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough. In all of my investigations, I've never investigated any place that was dark or negative or had anything dark or demonic there. You know what I mean? I dealt with a lot of negative stuff, and I've had a couple of attachments over the years at locations, but always lucky enough that when I left the location, the attachment stayed behind. But it wasn't anything negative. It was just something that wanted to live one more time through my eyes. So I never.
Are you a channeler?
Not that I know of.
No, I grew up like that, so that's why I wondered if you.
Not that I know of. No, but I mean, I've been jumped twice, and so it's a pretty weird feeling. It's a pretty weird
Yes.
feeling when you get jumped, and it's a pretty weird feeling when they leave. And they're gone. Just crazy. It's just crazy stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's not what I wanted to discuss tonight anyway.
No, I'm glad you got into
down a
that, because
different
a lot
road,
of
yeah.
people. No, a lot of people don't understand it. It does. I've had attachments too. It took me some bit to get rid of them. It wasn't like it was, but it wasn't that next level, like, people climbing walls and maybe like their heads, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just it wasn't that level, but it's scary to think that it does get that level. But I'm glad there's people out there kind of stopping it, preventing it, because once it goes into that realm, it's not predictable any further. Like you can't really predict it.
It's once it gets full blown a possession, it's really really tough to break those things. They've been around forever, and you really need somebody who knows what they're doing and who's dedicated to do it, because it takes a lot out of it. Like I said, like Ed told my brother, it takes a lot. It takes years off your life. It really
Yeah.
does. So I mean,
Yes, it does. Yes, you're right about
I
that.
have no desire. I have no desire to do any of that stuff. So
Well, I thought since you were talking about retirement, maybe this would be a great, like something to pick up, a hobby, or what do they say with, in case you lack feel that need for
I have
entertainment.
enough hobbies. Believe me, ask my wife. I'm a big kid. I got a ton of hobbies. I don't like
Oh,
doing that.
well,
I
we
wouldn't
just
know- I
wanna
wouldn't-
check
I
it
wouldn't
in
know
to
what
make
to do
sure.
if I didn't work anymore. I know what to do. You know what I mean? I got it all figured out. Yeah.
I'm just
That's
throwing
really-
it out there, just in case.
It's super important to be kid-like, childlike, though. Still have
Yeah,
that.
I love being in the field. I love investigating. That's why I'm no longer me and Brian. We were podcasters together, and we had a great show called Beyond the Realm. And but I spent so much time on the show that I was not getting into the field anymore. You know what I mean? And I'm happiest when I'm in the field investigating. No matter what I'm investigating, that's when I'm happiest. He's happiest behind the mic. So I was like, listen, dude, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. It's sucking up all my time. And so I went back out into the field, whether it's in the, haunted houses or CE5s or in the woods with cryptids. I went back to doing what I like doing. I love to do, and like I said, I'm so tired of all the pareidolia and all the bullshit that's in the field now that I've gone back to like old school stuff. You know what I mean? The Polaroid cameras, 35 millimeters with film in it. If it's in the negative, it's in the picture. And just stuff like that. And like as a matter of fact, to one of the investigations I was doing with John Zaffis again, we were at this old museum, and everybody had all kinds of high tech stuff, And I said, you know what? Everybody's going to have all the high tech stuff. I think I'm going old school tonight. And I brought a ton of old school stuff. And everybody was unloading their gear. And I was sitting next to John, and I'm taking all of my gear out of my bag. And he looked at me and he goes, what's this, 1975 again? I go, listen, dude, don't fix it if it's not broken. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I got a lot of great stuff that night. I don't know about anybody else.
Think about it though. I said the same thing with those old like Polaroid cameras and stuff like that. They didn't have all the filters. They weren't like made to fill in the imperfections and fill into the those blanks. Like those are the best. The old, like the better. They still work. The older the better, because then you don't have all that technology that's filtering through everything. I'm with you on that for sure.
I mean, it's just I have all the high tech stuff. I got tons and tons of equipment. I got duffel bags worth of crap that I don't even use anymore because I can't take it all out with me. I got too much. So I try to take stuff out with me what I feel like I'm going to use. Like every now and then I'll get a vibe to take something that I haven't taken out in a long time, and I'll say, I don't know why I'm supposed to take this tonight, but I'm going to take it out. You know what I mean? And I end up using it, and then I realize, oh, this is why I was supposed to take this tonight. You know what I mean? Because we had one person that had got jumped, and he said, oh, I feel cold, I feel this, I feel that, and I was hitting him with the thermal laser, the laser gun, and his body was still the normal temperature, on the outside, but he was feeling cold on the inside. That's where the cold was. It wasn't on the outside. He was still 98.6 or whatever he was supposed to be. And I was like, that's why I was supposed to take this laser gun tonight, this laser thermometer, because otherwise I had no reason to take it out that night. But I felt like that was the reason why I was supposed to take it, and because at that particular investigation, nobody was using any thermal cameras, so nobody was knowing what his actual temperature core was, But since I had that thermal laser thermometer, I was the only one. I said, okay, this is why my gut told me to take this tonight, It was pretty interesting too to think that. Intuition. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting too. To think that he's feeling all this coldness. Like he thinks his body temperature dropped like 10 degrees, but it hasn't. He's still the same temperature, but he's feeling it on the inside,
Can I ask you, what does jumped mean? It's a relatively new term for me. So
when an entity or a spirit goes inside you.
Okay, so like attached.
You get an attachment.
Attached?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if it was something different. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. I jumped means they just jump in you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I've heard it before.
There's different. I know. Like if you think about it, because they that's kind of like, what especially what differs from maybe somebody who's channeling them to somebody who's jumped. Like they're vulnerable. It means that entity is looking to jump into another, needs another host. Is basically.
Yeah, and apparently, I go above and beyond when I protect myself before I go out into any investigation. Believe me, I go above and beyond. So I know that if I get jumped or an attachment, it's not going to be from anything dark or negative. It's going to be from something that was harmless in life that just wants to live through your eyes one more time for a short period of time. Because I do so much protection prayers and everything that there's no way anything can get in me, anything dark anyway,
Yes, and that's a huge thing is do those clearings, protect yourself. I have a little mantra. I always say, spirits of the white light and the love of God, stay with me. Spirits not of the white light and the love of God, leave. I keep repeating it. So, and luckily I've not had, but when they go into this, I just remember seeing a lady and it really bothered me. I was supposed to go in and do a clearing for her. And the days that passed, she just looked more frail and frail. And then she looked like, I was like, man, it looks like Night of the Living Dead out here when she'd come out to the car. And I was like, and it was crazy. And I thought, man, I got to a point, I thought we need to do this now because if any further, I don't know if that lady's gonna even be here. She's so frail, and it just, I mean, it was wearing away. You could just tell the bags under her skin was so pale. I've never seen anything like it, but
Yeah, she
yeah,
probably had an energy vampire attached to her, just sucking her dry. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and then everything turns chaotic and in a mess. Like, what are your if I guess before in some of the earlier stages of it, what are your recommendations on people do and how they handle it?
Well, a lot of times it's hard for people to realize it because people go into denial. They don't want to believe what's happening. Some people are just not open minded enough. Like my father would have never believed it in a million years if something had jumped him. And so it's hard to really. It depends on the person's personality, how you handle it, and how you what you tell them to do to start the process of getting the entity out. You know what I mean? So it all depends on who you're dealing with, what their belief system is, and I've had a case one time out of Georgia. Well, one of my best friends growing up, man, we did the blood brother thing and everything because he was part Apache.
Oh,
And we
yeah, I
tried to
heard
handle,
that.
you know what I mean? I mean, there was a group of us. We called ourselves the Brotherhood, and we were like the true motley crew. Everybody was like from a different nationality, and and then the neighborhood that was basically all Italian.
All
It
the
was like, yeah.
thumbs, like,
So yeah, so no, we're right across the palms, and he called me up one day from Georgia, and he says, "Al, my daughter's is something going on with my daughter, yada yada yada," and I was like, "Well, have your daughter draw me something." This was before FaceTime. I said, "Have your daughter draw me something of what she's seeing. Something was attacking her in her bedroom," and she drew me an image of an evil jinn.
oh
And I was
wow.
like, wait a minute. How the hell did she get an evil jinn? She's in Georgia, you know? How did this happen? It turned out she was dating a Marine that was in Iraq. And when he came home from Iraq, it had jumped him, attached to him. And then when he went to see her, it attached to her. And I had a friend who was Arabic descent, who was one of the Brotherhoods, and he had a uncle who was a cleric, and we had to go through all of this. We had to get all these different talisman, like these Arabic talisman, and these Arab, and then his uncle had to hook us up with a cleric in Georgia who actually went there and cleansed her, and then I gave him stuff to seal her bedroom, to make her bedroom a safe zone. I
Oh, that's
mailed her a whole
awesome.
bunch of stuff because she shouldn't be getting attacked in her own room, in her own bedroom.
No,
So I
God,
said,
no.
make the bedroom a safe zone, and then I was, like I said, I was working through all these back channels, and my friend's uncle, who was a cleric in New York, got them hooked up with a cleric in Georgia, and this guy went to the house and cleansed them. But it was crazy to think that this guy brought it back with him from not Afghanistan, Iraq. So it was wild stuff.
That is
That
crazy.
is.
Sounds like
That's
another
heavy.
movie.
Yeah, I know. We
You
shouldn't,
need to write a
try our
book.
hardest not to end up on like some Lifetime movie, but I feel like we're all good candidates here.
No, I mean,
Um,
but this is what happens. You get phone calls from people, and they say, "Hey, can you help me? This is what's going on." And I come up here in my office, and I got my legal pad, and I take all kinds of notes, and this, that. I may be recording, recording the conversation too, and then try to break it down, and as while I'm on the phone with them, try to break it down and help them, and then if I know anybody in that part of the country or wherever they're calling from, maybe set them up with somebody that's out there that could help them directly. And that's just what I try to do. I got into this field to help people. You know what I mean? And and I get a lot of satisfaction from helping people. And I
I
don't,
can
like I said,
tell.
I don't
And
charge.
you're so, yeah, but the thing of it is between you and Brian, I don't know how you guys do it. I mean, it's like people usually they experience 1-2 parts of the phenomenon, but you guys have literally like the boxes are checked where, I mean, that the spectrum of things that you've encountered is unbelievable. I mean, and
Yeah.
I've seen your pictures. I've seen Brian's. Yeah, Brian, like, so I think that's absolutely amazing, whatever you're doing or however you're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Do
the
you think it's like a
investigation.
frequency thing, or do you feel like you tap in differently to each of them, or do they come the same?
I couldn't tell you honestly. I have no clue. I guess my energy. People, whatever happens, just you know, it's just. Brian's the same way. No matter where we go, like people say, "Oh,
I could see
peop
that.
I can't stand when people say, "Oh, you can't have all these experiences. You can't experience this, that, and you
No,
can't
yeah,
have an
you guys
experience.
definitely
You
have.
can't have these experiences every single time you go out." And I was like, "Dude, I understand it's hard to believe. I get it. Believe me, I would call bullshit on it in a heartbeat if I thought you were full of shit. But if you don't believe me, come out with me and experience it." I've never gone out, no matter who I've taken out with me, and I always take people out who's not part of the team to validate what I'm talking about because they got no reason to lie for me.
I don't think that's the case at all. Brian is somebody that I know that Brian, there's nobody that knows more about stuff than Brian. I've like put him to the test on so many things. So when I know for a fact, I've seen your pictures, I've seen his pictures. I think that's fantastic. Sometimes it's a dynamic. You guys are not ones that, and Brian's not one to bullshit. Like, hey, if I didn't, something isn't going, whatever. Like, first, it's not. That's just the way people. I respect that. I do very
That's
much,
why
and I
I
was
call
not
him
by
the
any
paranormal
stretch.
professor.
Yeah, I'm not by any stretch of your imagination. And am I saying that those? I not only do I believe they happened, I cannot tell you the extensive stuff that I've seen and heard from both of you. So I, without a shadow of a doubt, believe all of that happened. Very much so. Very much so. So
Well,
just so you know,
and
I
always tell
didn't think
people,
that at all.
I'm not trying to bullshit you. I have no reason to bullshit you. I'm not into this. I'm not in it for the money, and I don't expect everybody to believe everything I say either, because I know some of the stuff is so insane that it takes a lot to wrap your mind around. I can't tell you how many times people have called bullshit on me when I'm doing a podcast, and people in the chat room saying, "Oh, this guy is full of shit." No, 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 no. And I was like, okay, that's fine. You could believe what you want to believe. I'm not gonna fight with you. You know what I mean? I know what I've experienced, and I know what the people who've come out with me experienced with me. You don't know me from a hole in the wall, and you're calling me, a liar and everything else. But that's okay. I don't care. I don't know you, so your opinion doesn't matter to me. Maybe it's a New York thing. I don't know, an attitude. I don't know, but like the investigation I wanted to discuss tonight goes through the whole gamut of stuff. The whole gamut of stuff from the beginning to the end. It's absolutely insane, and you let me know when you want. I'll start discussing that particular investigation and everything we experienced. It's just mind-boggling.
Should start now.
Start now? Okay. So it was 2015. It was Halloween night. There was a meteor shower going on. I like to go out when there's a special events, Halloween, meteor shower. Again, I'm an energy guy. I do a lot of stuff with energy. And we went out. I did a pre-investigation to find the locations I wanted to sit at that particular night, and I found up on top of a ridge, I found 3 quartz crystal stones set up in a pyramid shape. I don't know who put these stones here, where they came from, but I was with my camera guy Bill, and I said, okay, we're going to start here. This is the furthest point that we're going to go, and then we'll work our way back towards the car, because we were about 4.5 miles deep into the woods at that point. So it was okay. And then we came across a clearing that was like a meadow, and I said, we'll do an investigation here. And then there was like a campsite that we wanted to hit on the way out. And I said, we'll do an investigation there because I had researched the location, and it had Bigfoots coming off the Appalachian Trail into this particular campsite. It had UFOs siphoning water out of this particular lake that was there. All kinds of stuff it had going on. So we go out Halloween. I like to do day, night. I like to get out there during the day and see how the energy changes as the night goes on. And we get out there and we get to the furthest location, the 3 quartz crystal stones. And we brought 2 quartz crystal skulls with us. Brian brought a clear quartz, and I brought a rose quartz. And we were going to try to get the energy to jump from one quartz crystal skull to the other and film it. That was one of our experiments we wanted to do that night. So we're sitting there and we're filming, and these stones are ice cold. I'm using a thermal imager. The stones are ice cold. So I was like, well, the stones are ice cold, and we're doing stuff, and I got a parabolic mic going, and I'm catching some kind of Morse code coming out of the sky. And then we have a conversation. What's this Morse code? Is it a radio tower? Is it a cell tower? And and me just being me, I go, maybe it's a UFO, disguised as a cloud, and we're catching its frequency. I don't know. So at one point,
they do that. They totally do that.
I know. I've seen them. on 4th of July one time. So I call my psychic Cindy in Arkansas, and she says, okay, at this location, you're going to experience this, that, and the other thing. I was like, okay. So then I got a Tibetan singing bowl, and I filled the woods up with frequency, and I'm going, and I got that bowl going. Now it's the head chakra. I got that going, and the energy in the woods change. I mean, our skin is tingling. I don't know what I did, but I amped those woods up, and I looked back at the quartz crystal stones, and they were white hot. And I go, Bri, do me a favor, touch the stones. They're white hot on the camera. He goes, I'm not touching those stones. And I'm like, dude, touch the stones. They're white hot. I said, I need to see if they really are white hot, or if they're just showing that way on the camera. He goes, I'm not touching these damn stones. I said, here, take the goddamn camera. I'll touch them. So he's filming me, and I touch the stones. They're ice cold to the touch, but they're coming out white hot on the thermal camera, which is, who knows why. We call a psychic back up. Now she can't talk. She's like, sounds like she's got cerebral palsy. She can't talk. I got to walk like 100 yards away from where and she's like, what the hell did you guys do? I go, I filled the woods up with frequency. And she goes, Al, all bets are off now. She goes, you just changed everything, And I go, what did I do? She goes, you changed everything. So I said, okay, we'll see what happens. So we're up on this ridge, and we're doing our experiments and all the little things that I like to do, and it's getting dark, and it's pretty dark now, and we got a couple of glow sticks for ambient light because we don't want anybody to see us in case there's anybody else in the woods doing things on Halloween, because we did find some stone figurines up on ledges and stuff, and I'm like, freaked me out. I thought of Blair Witch immediately, and I was like, what the hell is this? Who the hell is carrying rocks up on a ledge, and how the hell are they getting up there and building these figurines? Whoever's doing it had to be a mountain goat, right? So anyway, we're sitting there in the dark, and not much is happening, and we're just chilling out, and all we have on us are 18-inch machetes, 10-inch survival knives, and pepper spray, and we're sitting there. And I got the parabolic mic going, and I hear walking coming towards us. Boom, 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 boom. It's coming towards us from west to east. Now, the full moon is up, and coyotes are going off on the west side of the lake. They're going insane at the moon. There's a dog kennel above us on the east side of the lake. The dogs are going crazy at the coyotes. The coyotes are going crazy at the moon. And we're sitting there listening to this, stuck in the middle of it. And whatever, I go to Brian and Bill, I go, listen to this. Someone's coming towards us. And they listen to it, and they look back at me, and they go, Al, you think that's a person? If that's a person, they're 10 feet tall and 1,000 pounds. I said, well, who else is going to be out here, you know? And they go, Al, that's not a person. So I said, okay. So we put the parabolic mic down, and we sit down, and we're just waiting. And we get 3 whoops. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And I mean, these whoops were powerful. This thing was 100 yards away from us, and the whoops came up the ridge. You felt it go up your legs. You felt it hit you in the chest like a bass drum. And my cameraman goes, okay, it's time to go, you know? And I go, nope, it's too soon. We can't go yet. Because he's like, what the hell is that? I go, you know what that is. We all know what that is. That's a Bigfoot. Bigfoot is over here whooping at us. Now we hear a whoop from the right. We hear a whoop from the left. Then a whoop goes. The whoop that was in front of us is 3 miles away from us on the other side of us. It whoops, and Brian's freaking out. He must have went through a portal. How did they get 4 miles away from us in 1,000th of a second? And we had all this stuff going on. And then I guess the Sasquatch that whooped at us at one point throws a stone at us. Now we're 50 feet up on the ridge. The trees that are above us are 60 feet tall. This creature's 100 yards away. It throws a stone the size of a bowling ball over the top of the trees. We're sitting there in like a triangle formation, and this rock comes down. We hear it coming down, breaking all the branches. And we look up with our headlamps. We see this thing come down. It lands perfectly between the 3 of us. And it rolls and it hits Brian's chair. And Brian's like, okay, it's time to go. And I go, no, I'm not ready to go yet. I think there's still more to come. And he's like, Al, I think we should go. And I go, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to leave too soon and miss something. So we're sitting there and we're waiting, and the woods go silent for a little while. And then all of a sudden, we hear something come charging up the ridge. A quadruped. It's on all 4s, and it's coming up the ridge. Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. It's coming. I don't know if it's the Bigfoot bluff charging us. I don't know if it's a bear. I don't know if it's a mountain lion. I got no clue, but something is coming up the ridge. There's a little 3-foot wall behind us. My cameraman is sitting next to that wall, right where this thing is charging up the ridge. He gets up and he runs by me, and I reach out and I grab him, and I spin him around, and I tell him, stand your ground. And he's standing to my left, Brian's to my right, and I say to these guys, that pull out your machetes, something's coming up the ridge. So they pulled out their machetes, I pulled out my survival knife, and I'm thinking, okay, a mountain lion is going to hit this wall and jump at my throat. I got to sacrifice my left arm, and I'm going to have to kill it with this survival knife. Because this thing is coming. It's charging us. Comes right up to where we are, and it stops. And nothing comes over the wall. So I got this little Sony camera hanging around my neck. I take a picture of where I think it is, because I never took my eyes off of the sound coming up the ridge. I take one photograph, snap the photograph, threw the camera back down, and we waited for whatever it was to leave. Never goes back down the ridge, doesn't jump off the ridge into the swamp. It's just gone. So we jump over the wall. We got 4 different cameras, all different light spectrums. We're filming in each direction. There's nothing on any of the cameras. My camera guy's got a 1500 Luma that lights a flashlight that lights up the woods like daytime. We light up the swamp. There's nothing in the swamp. What the hell was that? What just charged us? We don't know. So we go back to sitting down, and Brian and Bill are like, can we leave now? And I was like, okay, we can leave now. Now, I'm wearing a Moldavite stone, right? It's supposed to ring out frequency of the alien frequency, right? So I'm wearing this Moldavite stone. And as we're walking back towards, we're going to the next section, the meadow. We're heading back towards the meadow. As we're walking back towards the meadow, we're on a bunch of big rocks, and I see this light in the sky, flashing silver. It looks like a strobe light. And I say, said to myself, please, God, don't let this be a UFO. Don't let these guys get abducted because of me, because I'm wearing this stone, right?
Oh, God.
So I'm not saying nothing to either one of those guys because I don't want them to see it. Well, Brian spots it and goes, what's that, right? And as soon as he says, what's that, and points to it, it stops. Now, Brian's filming. He's got his camera out. He's filming. Turns orange. It starts blinking orange, and it makes a beeline towards us, and it comes right over to us. Boom. Now, we're standing underneath this thing looking up at it. It's blinking orange and silver and all these different colors, and we're debating on. You can hear us debating on the video. What the hell is it? Is it a drone? Is it this? Is it that? First thing I do is I ask my cameraman Bill, time check. What time you got? And he says 9 o'clock. I said okay. And we're watching it and we're looking at it and it's looking at us. So I say we should shut our headlamps off. So we shut our headlamps off and it hits us with a floodlight. Boom. Now we're standing in this floodlight with our headlamps off, and I say to the guys, we should get out of this light. We don't know what it's doing to us. And Brian is like, it's downloading us. That's what it's doing. I said, well, let's get out of this light. So we step out of the light. As soon as we step out of the light, it shuts the light off, and it races across the sky, and it's gone in a thousandth of a second. It's gone. Boom. So we sit in there and we discuss that. What the hell just happened? All right, let's get over to the meadow because we got more stuff we want to do at the meadow. We get over to the meadow. We do a time check. Said, okay, it only took us 15 minutes to get here. We didn't lose any time as far as we know. We call the psychic, and the psychic says, okay, totally different energy here. You're going to see this, that, and the other thing. Okay, she's talking about fairies and gnomes and stuff like that, and we're asking her what she's been smoking because from New York, we don't have fairies and gnomes in New York, and she says, okay, give me a call later, So we're sitting there, and we're sitting in this meadow, and I happen to tell Brian, I said, listen, the Native Americans say, if you see balls of light in the woods, not to follow them. They'll lead you to your demise. So you bring your green laser, I'll bring my red laser. And if we see any balls of light, let's hit them with these lasers and see what happens. So Brian says, okay. So we're sitting at the meadow, and we're setting up. We got all these cameras and everything. We're setting up. And 2 balls of light come out of the woods from the other side where we were just at, on the east side of the lake. So I say, okay, Bri, you hit the one on the right. I'll hit the one on the left. I said, Bill, you light up the whole area with your flashlight. Let's see if they turn into anything. We hit them with our laser beams. And as soon as the lasers hit these 2 balls of light, they blinked out and they never came back. I don't know what we did to them. Wow. I don't know what they were. But they appeared out of nowhere, and they looked like they were coming our way, and we stopped them dead in their tracks. Now we're sitting there. Now the meteor shower is going on. So my camera guy is filming the meteor shower. I'm taking pictures of the trees. I'm seeing shadow figures jumping from tree to tree, not just one, but like 3 or 4. And I'm telling Brian, look up. Do you see these damn shadow figures? And I'm taking pictures. I'm not getting anything in my pictures, but we can see them with our eyes. He goes, yeah, there's shadow figures jumping from tree to tree. So then he says, I'm looking south, Brian's looking north, Bill is looking east with the camera. And Brian says, Bill, come over here by Al. He says, put the camera down behind Al, face it towards Al. I'm seeing something running behind Al, but something small is running from tree to tree. So Bill comes over. Brian's standing over my shoulder. Bill's got the camera. We have a monitor set up to the camera, an extra monitor. So we have 2 SD cards, one in the camera, one in the monitor. We're watching this monitor. Bill is filming the area where Brian, and hand to God, a gnome comes out from behind a tree. And it looks at us, and it runs across the woods to the other side to another tree. So we all just look at each other, and I said, what did you guys see? Tell me what you guys seen. I seen a gnome. Okay, we all see gnomes, right? Okay. We go back, we're filming. Another one comes out, and another one films. And again, everybody seen gnomes? Yeah. We're in agreement with this? Yes. Bill's freaking out because he goes, oh, we got 2 SD cards, one in the camera, one in the monitor. We got this shit on film. We got the Holy Grail. You know, we film gnomes tonight, you know? So we get up, and we go over to the trees where we see them run to. And there's nothing there. It's just woods. It's just woods from one tree to the other. There's nothing there. So we go, we sit back down. Now Bill starts filming the tree that I seen the shadow figures jumping in with the night vision camera. And on the night vision camera, the tree is lighting up like it's got 1 million little Christmas ornaments on it. When you look with your naked eye, there's nothing there. There's no leaves. This is November 1st, you know what I mean? There's no leaves on the trees. But in the camera, there looks like it's got 100 little ornaments on the tree. So we're looking at the tree. What the hell? We're trying to figure out what these ornaments are that we're seeing in the camera, but we're not seeing in our naked eye. And as we're sitting there, the Appalachian Trail comes out to the meadow where we're sitting. 3 large men in the dark with weapons on our belts, 18-inch machetes and survival knives. And we hear a family coming down the Appalachian Trail. A mother, a father, and 2 little kids. The kids are kicking rocks and giggling and laughing. The mother and father are having a conversation. And I say to the guys, let's put our headlamps on so when these people come out, we don't freak them out and they step out and here are 3 large guys with 18-inch machetes on Halloween, you know. So we're sitting there and we can hear them coming, man. They're coming right out. And the Appalachian Trail comes right out in the middle of the meadow. And the sound comes right out to the opening, and no one comes out. No one comes out. So I say, let's go in and look for these people. Maybe something happened to them on the trail. You know, maybe they got hurt. Maybe they got attacked or something. Let's go in and see. So we go in with that 1500 luma flashlight that lights up the woods. We pull out our machetes. We go in and we hike 100 yards, and we don't see nobody. I was like, call the goddamn psychic. I want to know what's going on. Call Cindy down in Arkansas, and I swear to God, she picks up the phone and she's like, why the hell are you calling me so late? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like 9:30. She's like, no, Al, you called me at 9:30 when you got to the meadow. I was like, yeah, that was like 10 minutes ago. She's like, no, Al, that was an hour. That was 2 hours ago. It's 11:30 now. I was like, what are you talking about? It's 11:30. We just got here. She's like, no, Al, you've been there for 2 hours. She goes, why are you calling me? And I tell her about the family that we hear coming down the Appalachian. And she says, no, it's not going to be any family there tonight. That you were in a time-space continuum. That's what she told me. And that family will be there tomorrow. There's no family walking down the Appalachian Trail at 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night, 2 parents with little kids. It's not happening. She goes, that'll happen tomorrow. So somehow we got in some kind of time slip. I don't know how that happened. I don't know where the 2 hours went to. It felt like we were there 10 minutes, 20 minutes the most. Okay, if I'm being honest, 20 minutes. So then I say, okay, it's 11:30. Let's pack up. Let's go to the campsite because that's where the Sasquatch is coming. Now, at this point, we're doing all kinds of stuff. We're using frequencies. We're using fragrances. We're using all kinds of things to try to amp up the energy of the place. And I'm doing a 360. Every 10 minutes I get up and I do a 360 with my camera. I'm taking pictures. Don't know what I got in the pictures. The camera's too small to see anything that dark that late at night. And so I keep doing the 360s, and then we go. We get to the campsite, we start to set up. And I don't know who said it, if it was Brian or Bill, but they're like, "Oh man, tonight's the night we got to push the clocks back." So it's not really 11:30. It was like quarter till 12. It's not really quarter to 12. It's only quarter to 11. So we got to sit here for like another hour, 45 minutes. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, tonight's the night we push the clocks back. So if we're going to be here for 12 o'clock, we got to sit here for another hour. We've been in the woods for 12 hours already. We are burnt out. And Bill keeps saying the whole night, this place is crazy because it's devoid of life. He kept saying that all night. There's no animals in these woods. We're 4 miles in the woods, and the woods are devoid of life. And I kept telling him, shut up with the devoid of life stuff, So now we're debating, are we going to stay for another 45 minutes or are we going to go? We're all pretty much burnt out. Everybody's burnt out. So Brian says, oh, come on, let's get the hell out of here. We'll come back another night for the campsite. I said, okay. So we pack up and we start hiking out. We got a 3.5 mile hike out to our cars. And as we're walking out, we're having a conversation about what a crappy night it was. Nothing happened. After everything we experienced, we think nothing has happened. And the closer we get to civilization, the more animals we're seeing. Deers and raccoons and possums and all kinds of stuff. And the game plan was, when we left the investigation, we'd go to the diner, grab a cup of coffee or something, a bite to eat, and discuss the night. We get to our cars and everybody goes in different directions. Nobody goes to any diner. Everybody goes home. Brian goes to the Bronx. I go to my house. Bill goes to his house. Brian calls me up in the morning and he says, dude, I woke up spitting up blue phlegm. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm spitting blue phlegm and my daughter wants to know how I got the black and blue on my chest, on my belly. I go, what black and blue? He goes, I got a black and blue of a little handprint on my belly. I go, it's funny you say that because I woke up, I got a fat lip, like somebody cold-cocked me. I feels like there's something implanted in my lip. So he goes, let's call Bill. We put Bill on a conference call, and we call Bill, and Bill says, dudes, I had a terrible night. I seen shadow figures at my back door trying to get in. He said, I couldn't sleep all night. When I woke up this morning, I got a lump on my head like somebody hit me in the head with a baseball bat. So Brian says, okay, let's call Cindy in Arkansas. We call Cindy in Arkansas, and she's like, where the hell did you guys go last night? And I go, why? She goes, the hand I was using to talk to you on the phone, from the wrist to the elbow, I have a rash. I don't know how I got this rash. And I said, well, I don't know how you got the rash either, but, Brian's got a black and blue. I got a fat lip. Bill's got a bump on his head. And none of us fell down. There were no injuries occurred that night because we've been out where people have gone down and gotten hurt because the Appalachian Trail over here is like a goat trail. It's very, very sketchy. And God forbid the rocks are wet. You know what I mean? You're carrying 50 pounds worth of gear and you're walking through the dark. It's not an easy task, especially at my age. And so we're at Bill's house. No. So we have our monthly meeting where we do the evidence review. And we're reviewing all the evidence. And in those pictures where I was doing the 360 in the meadow, there are hundreds of orbs around us. hundreds, all different colors with all different kinds of faces in them. When you blow them up, there's literally faces in them. Now, I had done a Native American ceremony, a flute ceremony, and we think we brought in a Native American tribe around us. Okay? So we put all our stuff on Facebook and we say, hey, listen, we're just a working guys. If you got better stuff than us and you want to evaluate this stuff, let us know. This guy calls me from California. He says, Al, that picture you took of the stone wall. I go, yeah. He goes, you got a Dogman behind that wall. Like, what are you talking about? He goes, there's a Dogman behind that wall. I'm like, I didn't see any Dogman. He goes, I'll send you the image. He sends it to me, and I think it's photoshopped. I go, yeah, this guy's full of shit, right? This is photoshopped. So I go get my camera. I put the SD card in my computer. Sure as shit, there it is. How did we not see this? We were looking at this picture on a 60-inch television. 8 different guys. Nobody noticed the Dogman behind the wall. Week later, the guy calls me back from California. He goes, you know that picture in the meadow with all the orbs all around you? I'm like, yeah. He goes, you got a Sasquatch underneath that little red maple tree. What little red maple tree? The one that's in the shadows where the light doesn't reach. I'm like, what are you talking about?
God. Oh.
So he sends it to me. Again, I think this guy is full of shit. I said, this is photoshopped. I go back to my SD card. I put it in. Now I zoom in to that little red maple tree that's in the shadows. And underneath, I sent you both of these pictures. You've seen them both. So if you want to put them up, you have be my guest. You know what I mean? And there's this giant Bigfoot head. He must have been down on his arms watching us underneath the little red. That maple tree was the only tree in the woods that had leaves on it that night. You know, it was just absolutely crazy night. Absolutely crazy.
That's crazy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
If I cut her for a second, I just wanted to. I have them on Facebook. Yeah, I'll try and. Did you send them to both accounts? Do you know?
I just sent them to you on.
I can see if I'll just see if I can pull them up real quick.
Yeah, on Messenger.
At first, I was like, where the hell is he with all these different experiences? But then you said Appalachian. And there's something.
No, the Appalachian Trail. Yeah, the Appalachian Trail runs from Maine to Georgia. So it runs through New York. And the location we were at happened to be a place of high strangeness.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
That's incredible. And there's definitely something going on with the quartz crystals.
Yes.
Walls.
Yes.
And portals with you and maybe
Yes.
you and Brian. Because the last time you were on, you had a conversation with us about different sets of quartz crystals and being formed in, I think, a circle. And then you guys had the experience with the walls.
Oh, yeah, when I had my ascension, yeah, with the giant quartz crystals, that are in my yard, yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it was, I mean, when I was scouting out the location, I had heard my neighbor talk to a couple of friends of his who were coon hunters, and they talked about a Bigfoot coming out at what they call the campsite and chasing them out of the woods. So I was eavesdropping, and so I said, and I've been going to this location for years. I had a German Shepherd. I used to take the dog out hiking, me and my son. I never knew any of this stuff. I didn't know how crazy this place was. And then I started researching Bigfoot sightings, and more and more were coming up at this location, and UFO sightings, and more stuff was coming up about UFOs, balls of light coming out of the lake, and UFOs siphoning water from the lake. So I said, this place is a place, I got to go to this place, and I got to investigate this place. And Halloween was coming up, and the meteor shower was coming up, and I said, this is going to be a great night to do it, with all this stuff affecting the energies,
Yeah.
And because I'm a big energy guy when it comes to stuff like that. And so we were hiking through, and I had found Bigfoot teepee at the whatchamacallit, not the campsite, but at the meadow at one point. And I guess the forest rangers took it down. but I had found a Bigfoot teepee there. So that's why I wanted to go to the meadow, and I wanted to go to the campsite, because I know those two locations were very squatchy. But I had no idea what else I was going to find. So we were just hiking the woods, and somehow we ended up on this high ridge, and I seen these 3 quartz crystal stones set up as like a pyramid, and I was like, oh, this has got to be, we got to start here. You know what I mean? This has got to mean something. These 3 stones. These 3 stones didn't set themselves up like this, you know, and so that's why we started there and worked our way out towards the car.
It's amazing.
There it is. This is the Bigfoot right there underneath the tree.
I'll see if I can get any closer. Is that helping if I? Because I'm on the other screen.
Go up with it. Go up with it. There you
Oh,
go.
oh, yeah.
It's right in the center there. Now he's right in the center. Yeah, you can see his face.
Oh yeah.
He's just sitting there watching. I think this is the one who whooped at us and threw the stones at us. And I think the reason he whooped at us and threw the stones at us because we were right above a Dogman den. We didn't know it though, and he was trying to get us out of harm's way, but I was too thick to leave. I wouldn't leave, you know what I mean? And I think the reason why he was watching us, I don't know, it was either because of the Native American ceremony and he could see all the orbs, or he was making sure the Dogman didn't follow us over to his side of the woods. That I don't know. One those are my theories.
Oh wow, I can see its eyes right there.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Boy,
do you want me to?
Yeah.
Do you want me to pull the next one then?
Sure.
Okay. Here. And then.
And that's the Dogman. You can see his eyes
Oh
reflected.
God.
You can see his nose. He's got a square head. It looks like almost like a pit bull, and his ears are even cropped. You can see his ears are pointed. You know. And when I took that picture, I took it because that's where I heard it stop running. Not that I seen it there, you know what I mean? I was just taking a picture where I thought something should be, and the guy from California found the image. You know, I didn't even find it. I can't even take credit for it.
Are those its teeth that are down like towards?
No, I think those are sticks.
Okay.
Yeah, because right below his nose is that stone wall I was talking about. It's like a little 3-foot stone wall.
I got you.
That runs through the woods up here in every single direction. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. And those were the only 2 you sent, correct?
Though, yeah, because those were the only 2 pictures. I mean, I didn't send the pictures of all the orbs or anything like that, but those.
No, I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss any.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Wow, that's crazy. I've like the last time with Brian, I'm like, you know, it made a lot of sense because I said, and there, you said that they're basically they adapt to blending in to somewhat into, you know, what's around them, like kind of like a chameleon, or like we would if we were going out hunting, we would like camouflage or do whatever ourselves. So it's really interesting. And then when I started looking deeper into them, I'm like, whoa. It's chilling. It is chilling to see. What's your take on it with Dogman, or do you think he's more of the ones like wanting to be seen or not wanting to be seen? I've heard, you know, kind of accounts from both ends of this.
I think the Dogman, not that he wants to be seen. I think he chooses when he wants to be seen and when he doesn't want to be seen. I think he likes to. I think they feed off of people's fear. That, you know what I mean? And so that's why they tend to have more aggressive experiences with people. They'll block the road on them. They'll growl at them, they'll snarl at them, they'll show their teeth because they want to scare the living crap out of you, because they get it. I think they feed off of that fear, off of that, you know. And I think the Bigfoots are just the opposite way. If you run across one and you see it, and it sees you, it will turn and go the other way, unless you both happen to step out on a trail and you're face to face. You know what I mean? And then even then, it'll probably turn and go back the way it came, unless you're running into one that's having a bad day. You know, then you probably won't see you anymore after that. But you know. Yeah, no, I think the Bigfoots are definitely more reserved. They don't want the attention, and they don't want to be seen. And I think the Dogmans feed off the fear. Like that one that was behind us. I told you the last time that was behind me and my cousin. That was up on that hill, and it screamed at us, and it went right through both of us. And I think he didn't have to do that. Why did he do that? Because he wanted to scare the living crap out of us. But then when we didn't run and we turned around and looked for him, he didn't show himself to us. Why wouldn't you show yourself to us? You're trying to scare us out of the woods, but you're not. And he didn't get the reaction out of us that he wanted, so he wasn't going to let us see him, because I guess he was pissed that we didn't take off running. But then, yeah, the Dogman is definitely more aggressive, animal and entity, whatever you want to call it, and then the Bigfoot is for sure. Yeah. Like, we didn't
I've
know
heard
we were
that.
over its. We didn't know we were over his den. Who knew that it had pups in the den? We weren't there for the Dogman. We were there for ghosts and stuff. It was and Bigfoots, and I never heard any. I never seen any reports about Dogmen being in these woods. And I guess it just have to be in there at the right time.
What's your
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
on? Oh, sorry. What's your thought on the elementals, as far as
Yeah.
like orbs and stuff?
Yeah, there's a lot of elementals. I believe there's a lot of, especially at that location. I think there's tons of elementals that come in and out of there. I believe this particular location, at one point, the government was mining uranium out of the mountain there. So you have your weapons grade uranium out of the mountain that their mountain there. You have underground aquifers. You have underground veins of quartz crystals. You know what I mean? You have there's all this energy. You have all these stone figurines all over the woods. Everything is there to create energy. So I think there's a lot of I believe there's more than one portal at this location. Probably a half a dozen. You know what I mean? At different points of the woods where things come in and out of, and I think there's tons of elementals. Like I believe those gnomes were elementals. My psychic says that the balls of light were fairies,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
and she says they're like elementals. There's a lot of tree nymphs, all kinds of stuff in those woods. But
It was
I
like you
talk.
slipped into the Fey realm and time moved differently
It
for
was
you,
yeah, it
which
was
is
it
why you're
was
like, I just talked to you, right? Like that's the first thing that I thought of when you were talking about that
yeah.
happening.
She was so mad, and I was like, What are you mad about? We talked to you like 10 minutes ago." She's like, "No, Al, that was too." And we weren't sure if we were abducted that night. I gotta be honest, we weren't sure. We made a pact that we weren't gonna get regressed, you know. But then I became really good friends with Rosemary Ellen Guiley, and Rosemary lives in Connecticut. And I asked Rosemary to regress me at her house. I wasn't going to tell the guys about it because if it was a bad experience, I didn't want them to know about it. I would live with it myself. But if it was a good experience, then I would tell them, and then Rosemary would regress them as well, you know. But unfortunately for me, Rosemary was out in California shooting her TV shows, and then she was going across the country promoting her new book. By the time she got back to Connecticut, the week she was supposed to regress me, she passed away, and I never got it done.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's horrible.
Yeah,
Gosh.
I loved Rosemary too. She was a sweetheart. Yeah. And she was a go-to when it came to the gin too. You know, she had books on a gin and stuff. So she was another person whose brain I picked at the time.
That's yeah, and then you get to know, and I know that you have somebody now that you can trust, but I mean, just that knows you so well and you can trust like that. It's so hard to find, especially in regression. That's why I won't go near it either.
Yeah, no, you know.
You don't want somebody putting in, and I was a therapist, mental health therapist for 7 years. So I know how strong that power of suggestion is, and how it's just like, and you're in that state.
It's very easy to lead somebody somewhere. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. And, and I'm one of those guys who believes it can't be hypnotized anyway, but I'm sure I'll go out like that, But
I was surprised. No, they had this thing at this college that I went to, and I was the one that was out. I thought this was, I thought there was no way that they could get, and I remember them saying, you can't open your eyes. Sure enough, I could not open my eyes. And I was like, this is weird. There's no possible way. And I was just like, it was just like instant. And then I think that the shamery of the whole experience was I kind of came to as I had a microphone in my hand and I was screaming at somebody that they had to, because for putting that suggestion in my head, I guess I thought they stole the money. I don't know what I was, but nobody was getting that microphone, and that should have been a lesson learned on their end also. But it was just like, it was crazy. I thought, how could I really do that? How is that even possible? But that power of suggestion, I think you're right. They can lead you. And if you've ever been into that type of experience, you'll see just how easy it could happen.
Yeah, you really need somebody who's done it for a long time and is very careful in the way they do it. So, I would only trust somebody who's been in the paranormal, who experiences the paranormal, you know what I mean? And knows what kind of stuff I'm dealing with, than just going to some therapist who's just studied it out of a book somewhere,
Right.
I don't know how much I would trust that person, you know what I mean? Because they've never experienced anything that I've experienced, and I only wanted to regress for that one particular event. I didn't want it to regress me for anything else,
No, you really do. You have to be careful. But you get to a point, it's like, man, you get to such a point, it's like, do you want to know? You get these like snippets of what these information of what your experience is, and it's like, I'm like, you know what? You might as well just flashed, the middle of a movie I've never seen before, and just random set it like throughout the thing, because that's sometimes what people are left with, those fragments.
Yeah, it's fragments, sure, absolutely, yeah.
And I used to get stuck there, and then I was like, forget that. Like, that's about as helpful. I started to become more aware. Like, if I was going into it throughout the day, I would tell myself, okay, be aware of what things sound like, what they feel like. Are you cold? Are you warm? Are you hearing things? Is any of those of your sensory type things are what I started to focus on, and to help me stay as conscious as long as I possibly can.
Sure, but
it seemed to try it, because it was like I didn't have a choice in the matter at that time.
No, you can't. Yeah, I mean, you can't. You don't have a choice. You could do all of that perception, awareness stuff, and you're still going to go under. There's a point where there's no return. Hey, Jess. See, Jess is in the house.
Oh,
She's
yeah, I was with her on
yeah.
Spaced Out Radio. I love Jessica Jones. She's great. She's fantastic.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's
if you guys
just
have not,
one of our experiences that we did. We did so many more, but that one kind of covered the whole gamut of everything. So
wow. So do you ever make it? You said you're coming to the Midwest. I know that. I mean, if you ever make it to Iowa, I would love to go on and see what you guys do here. And if you travel through, please, by all means. Well, you said Nebraska was a possibility going back to the Midwest. I heard it. But people, somehow, and then especially just, I think that you might find yourself coming through Iowa sometime. Either that, or I'll find myself wandering off from Iowa because it's so stinking boring here. But there's a lot of cryptid, lure here.
Is good. Yeah, boring is good. Absolutely.
Sometimes, if there's not a catastrophe, it's a good day. It's great. No chaos. It's not always a bad thing. That's awesome. Well, I just really appreciate, gosh, you and Brian just blow my mind sometimes. And it's great that we've had that, because he's come in with pictures when you were on the last time. So he's been able to corroborate a lot of that as you
Oh
did
yeah, yeah.
his,
He showed the pictures of the Dogman den, yeah, that we were above. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that's really cool that you have somebody that you're able to kind of, throw some of these ideas and things and stuff back and forth. And I
Yeah,
mean,
I've been
keep
you know
doing what
I've
you're
been lucky my
doing.
whole life because I had my brother and my sister as well. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, experienced stuff, and I thought I was losing my mind, I would call my brother or my sister, and they would say, "No, you're okay. Don't worry about it. It's just our family, and it's just this is the shit that happens to us. It's
Is that
okay."
so true? I mean, so it's just like happens and runs in our family. You guys are kind of used to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
Because your dad, now that I think about it, you and your dad have done interviews together, haven't you?
no, me and my brother.
Oh, you and your brother. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, my dad didn't believe in anything. Oh God, no. Yeah, you couldn't talk to him about this crap. He'd kick your ass. No.
Well, I didn't realize, I guess before when you had said it, I did not, you don't look your age. So I was thinking
Thank you.
at all. So I guess yeah. So you and your brother you guys do this together then as like a family
Yeah,
unit or?
we've done symposiums together, and we haven't really done. I mean, we've done. I helped him out once. I think he lived out in Long Island, and he wanted to go to the Amityville house, And my brother's 17 years older than me, okay, and he wanted to go to the Amityville house with his friends. These were all like computer guys from work, and I was in school, and I was a photography nut. So he's like, "Come on, be my photographer. Come out with us, And I was like, "Okay, I don't care. I'll go to this house. I'm not afraid." So the closer we got to the house, the worse the vibes got for me. And when we pulled down the driveway, and it was a very long driveway to get to the front of the house, I started seeing shadow figures running from tree to tree in the dark. And I was like, you know what? Let's not go in this house. Don't go in this house. I'm not going in this house. I got a bad feeling. Every fiber of my body tells me not to go in. I'm telling you not to go in. And my brother's like, "I'll get the hell out of here. We're here now." And all his friends wanted to go in. So I said, "Well, here's my cameras. You're the photographer now. I'll sit in the car." And I sat in the car, and I waited. And they went in and they took their pictures and they did their experiences. And they experienced crazy stuff in that house. But I couldn't go in. There was just something. It's only been once or twice in my life where that's happened, where I've got to a location and then I was like, I can't go in this place. This is bad mojo, And it's just not that I'm afraid something's going to attach to me if I go in. I don't know what's going to happen to me if I go in. So I'm not going in. There's not enough money on this planet to bribe me to go in. Once I make my mind up, I'm not going in. I'm not going in. I'll sit in the car and wait for you out here in the parking lot, in the driveway. I'm not going in, and that really would have been the first time we worked together. But I don't really. That's as far as it went. I sat in the car. He went in the house and took the pictures and stuff. But yeah, it was. So we really haven't done a lot of stuff. We've gone to a couple of symposiums where we hung out with the Warrens and talked to them and stuff, like I said, because he lived in Trumbull and they lived in Monroe, and there was this one pizzeria that they always came to, so we would always bump into them there. It was the only decent pizza in Connecticut, so coming from the Bronx, it's hard to find a good pizza parlor in Connecticut, but we found one. So, but it is what it is. But yeah.
You'd be so disappointed with Iowa pizza. Yeah. You can't beat the food. Definitely cannot beat the food out where you're at. But
No, yeah, I mean, the food in New York is off the charts for sure. But like I said, for years you couldn't get decent pizza down in Florida either. You know what I mean? But there's enough grease balls down there now. They know how to make it. So
As Brian Bowden has relocated down to Florida.
trying to get me to move down there in the worst way. You know?
He hasn't mastered the pizza yet, so hopefully, I don't know, maybe he has, but you're not there, so I assumed he has not.
Absolutely not. No, but so I mean, that's just one of many investigations that we did and had a pretty, wild time at. You know what I mean? So there's, tons of other ones and personal UFO experience and abduction experiences with me and stuff like that. And a lot of and some dark demonic stuff too that's happened over the years at work. On the routes and stuff like that. I had some crazy experiences on the routes where you wouldn't think you would experience something in a big city. That's the third largest city in New York State, but there's some crazy shit going down, and I happen to be right in the middle of it all. You know what I mean? So.
I have a buddy, and it was in New York, probably like I don't know, close to your area, whatever. Anyway, he almost blew up a school. A girl had intervened. It was such a crazy story from this kid who had called him on the phone, and they had instantly, they planned this whole thing. The one kid stayed behind, and my buddy Jeremy, who went in there, and he said that this girl ended up catching him. She's like, because he was so dazed out, and so and just that morning, whoever this other kid called and then put the plan into motion. And she caught him, and he's so thankful. He calls her every year on the date to this, to thank her, because if it had not been for her and stopping and intervening, and he's like, and he didn't feel like they were playing with that, crazy, but it did take a very dark turn. And he said it was like he was a passenger going in there. So, stuff like that. And that's right in the city. He said, I will never go back there again. He vows never, ever to return again.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bad energy in the city for sure. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in the clubs, too, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, you just don't know. You never know. And he said, he's like, if she hadn't stopped, she jumped in front of me. She's like, Jeremy, you don't look right. Your eyes, and got her to, she got him to talk to her, but it was enough. And here he ended up, he did his time. He did 10 years, and he vows, he got out. He's like, I'm telling you, and he'll tell the whole open story, but he's like, I will never go around or near any of that type of stuff again. And I think too, he does attribute it to something in particular, whoever that, and that is, or that demon was, something very, where he fears it to this day. I do know that.
Sure, of course you fear it. Absolutely. Yeah, no, dark things happen all the time. There's people out there always trying to manipulate you, you know what I mean, and pull you in all different directions. The time there was one time that Brian and I were on an investigation where I had an attachment, and I felt I had the attachment. I knew something was attached to me. I knew I didn't feel right, but I didn't think I wasn't acting the same or talking the same. And Brian's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, nothing. And he's like, you don't look like you. And I'm like, then who do I look like? He goes, you don't look like you. He goes, you don't talk. You're not talking like you. I'm like, but I hear myself talking. I sound like me. And I go, well, who do I sound like? You're not acting like you. Say, well, who am I acting like? You know what I mean? And he kept telling me, you got an attachment. You got an attachment. And I was in denial. I said, no, I don't. I don't have an attachment. He goes, you have an attachment. I know you. This is not you. But hearing myself talking to him, it seemed like I was, reacting like I would normally react. And then once we left the location, I felt like a pop when a thing popped out of me. And we had went to a diner to get coffee and a bite to eat. And he goes, okay, this is you're back. It's you now, And I was like, I go, yeah, I was in denial, but I knew the truth. I knew that I had something attached to me, but I didn't. I wish he would have filmed me through the whole thing so I could have seen what he was seeing.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I've heard
Because
people come back with like even an Irish dialect before, and I'm like, whoa, whoa,
that would
yeah.
be pretty funny on me. Yeah.
But you can tell that something is speaking,
Yeah,
they're
through you.
not all their words that are coming through is what I
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm gonna jump off now. I've been up since 4:30.
No,
So I'm
we
pretty tired.
appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, and I
No
would love
problem.
to do. Yeah, no, I you blow us away every time you're here. So
No.
I mean,
It's
again,
my
tell.
honor, ladies. It's my honor.
Aw. And
No,
before
it's
you go,
Thank you very much.
energy. Yeah.
can you tell
If you
people
got any
where they can
questions.
find you?
Bronxville Paranormal Society on Facebook, on YouTube. I'm going to start putting stuff up on my YouTube page again, and I'm going to start putting stuff up on the BPS page. We got a team page and we have a group page. Either one of those pages or any of the other groups that I'm a director of, the New York State
All
Sasquatch Organization,
553,000 others. Yeah.
the New York State Dogman Project, the New York State UFO Project, and the big Bronxville Paranormal Society are the main four, so that's where you could find me, any of those. If you reach out, we have hotline numbers and everything, and Brian and I both get the calls, so whoever answers it first, But if anybody, or just reach out to me on Facebook personally, I'm very accessible. So if you send me a message, I'll definitely get back to you.
Oh, yeah. And sorry, Maya, I didn't want to interrupt you before.
No, I was just saying it was really cool that you guys have an actual hotline. Because
Yeah, we have a hotline. Yeah.
And there's
So
actually
Brian Bowden gets the other call if it's like a crisis
Yeah,
call?
we have a hotline that's got like line 1 and line 2. So if line
is-
1's busy, it'll go to line 2, and Brian will get it, or vice versa.
Wow, that is cool. Yeah, if you
Brian-
want us to get that
Brian's a
information out
technology
there.
guy, you know what I mean? So he's got all kinds of crap set up all over the place. Yeah.
Well, he knows everything, so I figure he has to
paranormal
have all the
professor.
ground covered.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. And then I guess in closing, Maya, is there anything that you had or any more on your end? I guess.
I did get a spirit message for this collective. It was something, I wrote it down, but then I forgot where I put it because I'm organized. But it was something to the effect of, what are you waiting for? Like, what is that thing that you've been wanting to do that you've been putting off, whether it's eating better, working out, starting something new, doing something creative, going on a trip? What are you waiting for? Nothing is going to happen to give you the sign. You have to be the sign. So that was basically
Who was the message for?
the collective, this little
Oh,
collective or big
okay.
collective of ours. Yeah, that was
interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
interesting. Absolutely.
Does that hit home?
Well, I just started training again for the summer, so I just started working out and exercising. You know what I mean? Because I just felt like I haven't. It's been so cold this year up here that I just couldn't get myself to go down in the basement and start working out because it was so damn cold. My basement's not finished; it's just a regular basement, And now it's starting to warm up, so I started training again.
That's awesome.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
awesome. I saw the look on your face. I'm like, it definitely hit home. So I have. And then in closing, Elle, what would you like to leave I always leave it up to you. What would you like to leave the audience with until next time?
Oh God, I got nothing. It's your show. You end it, not me.
Oh no, I was gonna push that off on you, Al. And I thought we'd just make you, some people do, some people don't, but yeah, on that note, Al, we'll see you next time. Thanks so much again. We appreciate
Ladies,
it.
it was my honor. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in.
That was so funny. It's your show. You do. I was like, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. So yeah, Maya, how was your birthday? I mean, thank you that's awesome. You chose to spend it with us all here. That's pretty amazing.
Well, I would have been hanging out in the chat anyways, so
No, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, no, thank you guys for giving me all the happy birthdays. I feel like I have enough for another year. So yeah.
Aw. But you deserve it. And me too. If there's any Mondays, I guess the feedback I got from Al was he doesn't do the mystical. So I don't know. I'm like, but it's not necessarily like we just have the mystical. I don't think we've even gone that route yet for the Mondays. So that might have been maybe why a couple of people didn't. I don't understand sometimes people's logic, but yeah, definitely we'll have some exciting news coming up too. Also, just some housekeeping. Jay Austin, if you guys don't know him, he was on a previous episode. He's from the UK. He's a absolutely great friend. He and I will be taking on the Corey Good and James Gillian. So if there's wrenches in here on Wednesday, 6 p.m., we definitely could use the backup and chat. It gets crazy. But yeah, it will be a fantastic show. Always is with James and Corey. And I always say to everybody, the more dangerous of the situation would be not to allow this to come. Corey should be able to speak for himself, whether how you feel about him, regardless. It's scary to me that there are people that have gone to such extreme measures to make sure that we don't even have him on. And I absolutely, that goes against everything that I believe in. So if anything, remember, nobody's perfect, and listen with an open heart and an open mind is all I ask. But yeah, when people go out of their way like that and they just want to suppress that information and tear down and terrorize anybody who even thinks about letting them come in and speak for themselves, I think you're scarier. You're far more scarier than anybody just out there telling their truth. So, but
That's
yeah.
Great.
And then Maya, what did you want to leave? I mean, and with your birthday wisdom.
Yeah, just get up and start something if you haven't already. Don't wait for it to land in your lap. And be nice. Right now, it feels heavy and a little rough right now in the energies. Like I'm having trouble sleeping. I got sick at the end of last week, like just for like a couple minutes, because I think it was a lot of intense energy. So be nice to other people. You don't know what they're going through. There's a lot of stuff happening. There's solar flares and the Schumann. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
That is so true, because we don't always know what other people are going through. So people need to understand that, be good to one another, give each other some breaks once in a while, because we need them, we're just human. But yeah, that's awesome. And again, Maya, a very happy birthday. I know I'll be tailing behind you in May, but I hope today has, been as uneventful as you want it to be.
It has.
Because it is your day.
Yeah, I know. I've been telling the kids, it's my birthday. I don't want to hear any whining today. So,
Heck yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So, well, on behalf of SNX Radio, I'm Coley, also known as Coley UFO. We have the beautiful Miya StarFire. If you have not gone over to Maya's channel and subscribe, please do so. And that's Miya StarFire. So, on that note, thank you for taking the journey into the unknown. And I'll be seeing you on Wednesday. And on that note, we're out of here.
These they ain't lying. UFOs in the night we're flying. Paranormal tales in the air. Cryptid stamps, ain't no time to spare. Sasquatch looking in the dark. Take mysteries, always leave them all.